Your phone lights up while you're making coffee. The banner says you spent $63.40. You swipe it away so quickly that your thumb finishes the job before your eyes finish reading. You tell yourself you'll check later, when you're awake, when you have time, when one tiny notification will not somehow become a whole night of fixing your finances. The banking app is still sitting where you left it 11 days ago. A statement is face down on the counter. 2 envelopes have migrated into a drawer called Later, which is not a label you wrote down. It's just what the drawer means now. Every one of those things creates the same quick pinch in your chest, and every time you look away, the pinch fades. So you call yourself lazy, irresponsible, bad with money, but laziness does not explain why you can organize a whole trip in 12 open tabs and still feel unable to tap one app. This is not about whether you know how to read a balance. It is about what your brain thinks the balance will do to you. And once you understand that trade, you can stop treating shame like a financial strategy. Psychologists and economists call this information avoidance. In money research, one version is known as the ostrich effect. You know the information exists. It is free. It could help you. You still avoid it because you expect knowing to feel worse than not knowing. That sounds irrational until you notice what your brain is buying. The second you clear the alert, you get relief. The bill is still there, but the feeling is quieter. Your brain records the part that happened immediately. Swipe, relief. Close the email, relief. Put the envelope in the drawer, relief. Later gets the cost, right now gets the reward. Researchers saw the same pattern in real retirement accounts. After a daily market decline, account logins fell by about 9.5%. People looked less when they expected the news to hurt. Your checking account is not a retirement portfolio, but the emotional move is familiar. You visit the scoreboard on the day your side is winning. That is why payday can feel like the only safe day to look. Once the loop starts, it tends to show up in 8 very specific ways. Number 1. You clear the alert without reading the amount. That one thumb movement is the whole loop. The number arrives, your body votes no, and the banner disappears. The problem is that useful information disappears with it. That could have been the low balance warning that changed tonight's takeout decision. It could have been a charge you did not make. 5 minutes later, you cannot remember whether the banner came from your bank, your card, or the delivery app. The swipe saves you from a feeling, but it also throws away your reaction time. You stay vaguely worried. Only now you have nothing specific to respond to. Number 2, you know your expenses, but you do not know your balance. You can name rent, your phone bill, and every streaming charge from memory. So your brain says, basically, you know what's happening. But a list of usual bills is not a live account. It misses variable spending, pending transactions, a deposit that has not cleared, and the payment that posted earlier than you expected. You have built a mental estimate because estimates do not update in front of you. That gap turns every small purchase into a private guessing game. You are doing financial math all day to avoid reading the answer once. Number 3, you only check right after payday. On payday, the number is fresh and generous. Looking feels responsible because the news is likely to be kind. Then the rent leaves, the card payment lands, and the app becomes radioactive again. You took one snapshot at the month's highest balance and called it monitoring. It can even become accidental permission to spend because the one number you allow yourself to see is the month's highest. The danger lives in the days after that snapshot when an automatic payment can arrive to an account you have stopped watching. Number 4, paper goes into the later pile. A statement lands on the counter and gets turned face down. A medical bill goes behind another envelope. A store card notice moves into the drawer. The pile creates the feeling that you have contained the problem. But paper is not paused by being horizontal. Due dates continue, interest can keep accruing, and several protections for disputing account errors use a 60-day clock that starts with the statement, not with the day you finally feel ready to open it. The drawer clears the room, not the obligation. Number 5. You would rather be surprised at checkout than look first. You walk into the store knowing you probably have enough. Probably is doing heroic work there. Instead of checking in private, with time to move money or change your plan, you let the card reader deliver the answer in public. If it approves, you feel rescued, even though approval does not mean the purchase fits your month. If it declines, the thing you postponed arrives with an audience. You did not avoid the information. You chose the least useful place to receive it. Number 6. You invent a safely disappointing balance in your head. You take the last amount you remember, subtract a rough pile of purchases, then round down so you cannot get your hopes up. It feels cautious. But a pessimistic guess is still a guess. It can make you say no to something you could afford or say yes because you forgot what is pending. Either way, your imaginary number is making decisions that belong to the real one. You get all the restriction of a low balance without any of the clarity. Number 7. You have paid a late fee on money you actually had. The cash was in savings. Or your paycheck arrived the next morning. Or the card payment failed because an expired account was still attached. The money existed, but it did not reach the right place at the right time. Automatic payments can prevent late fees, but an automatic debit from an unwatched account can also produce an overdraft fee, a returned payment fee, or a biller fee. Sometimes more than one company charges you for the same bad timing. That is when avoidance feels especially unfair. You were not broke. You just did not see the timing soon enough to move the money. Number 8. The dread has a schedule, even if you never gave it one. Sunday night, the evening before rent. The hour before a big automatic payment. You spend days refusing to look, then try to solve the whole account when your anxiety is loudest and your energy is lowest. You open 3 apps, feel overwhelmed, and close all 3. Then you lose sleep rehearsing numbers you still have not seen. The problem now owns your attention without giving you any information in return. This is the cruel part. The thing you do to feel safe is the thing that makes the situation less safe. Not looking does not stop a charge from settling. It does not move money into checking. It does not make a minimum payment pause daily interest or help you flag a transaction you do not recognize. It only takes you out of the sequence. While you are outside it, the account settles the charge, the biller retries the payment, and the due date passes. You meet the result after everyone else has had a turn. And sometimes the original problem comes back carrying a fee. The amount you feared is now the amount plus a late charge. The money you could have moved is now a failed autopay. The unfamiliar transaction is now older and harder to investigate. Avoidance does not stop the charge. It only removes your vote. You are not trying to make your finances worse. You are trying to buy a quiet evening. But when quiet depends on not knowing, you can end up paying extra for the privilege of being surprised later. So, the fix is not a dramatic budget reset. It is a 5-minute look-only money peek. Pick the same time every week, Friday after your first coffee, Sunday afternoon before the dread starts, any time that is ordinary and repeatable. Set a timer for 5 minutes, open the account, and read only 3 things. First, read the current available balance. Notice any pending activity, but do not start doing arithmetic in your head. Second, find the next bill. Read the amount and the due date. Third, scan recent activity long enough to spot one charge you do not recognize. Then write down anything that needs action and close the app when the timer ends. Unless you see an unfamiliar charge that may be fraud or something due today, You do not transfer, categorize, optimize, or build a new budget during the peak. Those actions get a separate block. The first habit you are building is looking without turning the look into punishment. At first, the number may still hit hard. That does not mean the peak failed. The point is to give your brain repeated evidence that you can see the information, feel uncomfortable, and remain okay. The dread may not shrink neatly every week. It just stops deciding when you are allowed to see your own money. Then make the alerts worth reading. Keep one low balance alert and one upcoming payment alert. Let the useful amount show when your bank allows it. Turn off the marketing messages and duplicate badges that have trained you to clear everything. In a large field, experiment with people already at high risk of overdraft. A simpler warning reduced overdraft and insufficient funds fees more than the longer version. Clear information beats notification wallpaper. Finally, add one small safety net. If your cash flow is predictable enough, set the minimum payment on the card whose due date you miss most to autopay, and pair it with the low balance alert. If your income timing is too uneven for that, automate the due date reminder instead. Automation is the floor, not a reason to disappear again. Autopay still needs an account you watch. Your system should be small enough to use on a bad week. 5 minutes, 3 facts, 1 note for later. You are not trying to become a person who loves banking apps. You are becoming a person who can look before the account makes the decision for you. So, when did you last actually open your banking app? Drop the number of days in the comments. No explanation and no judgment. If the answer is 0, you already looked today. If the answer is 40, then 40 is simply where you start. And if someone you care about has their own later drawer, send them this. Not as a hint that they are failing. Send it as proof that avoiding money is a loop, not a personality. The number in your account already exists. Looking does not create it. Looking gives you time, choices, and your vote back.